Emergency lockdown. Unauthorized Devastator activation. Instructor Korvax's forearms slammed every panic button on his console simultaneously as human cadet Emma Johnson hefted the Devastator Mark VII rifle with her left hand while scrolling through her phone with her right. According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free. "Oh, hey, is this thing loaded?" Emma asked, squinting at the weapon that required 2 full-grown Crethians and a mechanical support frame to operate safely. "Put it down!" Korvax's voice cracked across 3 octaves. "That weapon has a recoil force of 8,000 newtons. It will pulverize your skeletal structure." "Huh." Emma tilted her head, spotted what looked like a safety mechanism, and flicked it off with her thumb. "Is it the little switch thingy here, or—" The Devastator roared. 10 shots, rapid succession, each one hitting the target with impossible precision while Emma casually adjusted her ponytail with the same hand holding her phone, the rifle barely moving in her other hand despite recoil that should have launched her across the training ground. Korvax watched his 17-year perfect safety record disintegrate alongside his understanding of physics. "Full Academy alert," he screamed into the emergency comm. "Human cadet has activated Class 7 restricted weapon. Repeat, human has the Devastator." Sirens wailed across the training complex. Blast shields slammed down. 300 cadets from 17 species hit the deck, covering their sensory organs. Emma lowered the rifle, looking around at the chaos with genuine confusion. "Wait, did I do something wrong? The targets are right there. I thought that's what we were supposed to shoot at." Korvax's translator struggled with the Crethian expletives flooding through it. "That weapon is rated for vehicular mount only. The recoil force alone should have shattered every bone in your appendage." "Oh," Emma glanced at her arm, flexing it experimentally. "It's got a pretty solid kick, yeah, like, I don't know, comparable to my uncle's shotgun, maybe a bit more." "Comparable to your uncle's?" Korvax felt something fundamental breaking in his mind. The emergency transport screamed overhead, and Academy Director Zelax practically fell out before it finished landing, his 3 eye stalks wild with panic. "Report! Who authorized human access to the Devastator?" "Sir, she just picked it up." Korvax gestured helplessly at Emma, who was now examining the rifle with the casual interest of someone evaluating a new kitchen appliance. "I turned away for 15 seconds to help Cadet Jotaro with his stance, and when I looked back, she had it in one hand." One hand. Zelax's stalk swiveled to Emma, then to the Devastator, then back to Emma. "Cadet Johnson, do you have any idea what you're holding?" A rifle?" Emma offered helpfully. "Devastator Mark VII according to the label." "Sorry, was I not supposed to touch it?" "It was just sitting there on the rack, and I figured we'd work up to the bigger guns after the boring starter ones." "Boring?" Zelax's translator made a sound like choking. "You found the Class 3 training weapons boring?" "Well, yeah, they barely had any weight to them. I kept thinking I'd break them if I gripped too hard." Emma shifted the Devastator to her other hand, her right hand the one she'd been using to hold her phone, without any visible effort. "This one's got some actual heft, feels more substantial, you know?" Korvax pulled up the weapon specifications on his tablet with shaking hands. "Director, the Devastator Mark VII has a base weight of 73 kilograms. Standard operating procedure requires a 2-person Crethian team with full exoskeleton support and a mounted stabilization frame." "Right, I saw those frame things." Emma pointed to the rack where mechanical support stood unused. "Seemed like overkill, though. It's heavy, sure, but it's not like it's a couch or anything." "Not like a couch." Zelax's voice hit frequencies that made the translator spark, "and the recoil is totally manageable if you just, lean into it a bit." Emma demonstrated her stance, the rifle cradled casually in one arm. "I mean, you gotta respect the physics, but it's not rocket science." "The physics," Korvax whispered. State that you should be a liquefied smear across the firing range. Huh, weird, Emma shrugged. The shrug made the 73-kilogram rifle bounce slightly in her grip. Want me to put it back? I didn't mean to cause a whole thing. 20 minutes later, Zilax was replaying the security footage for the 4th time in his office, surrounded by 7 members of the physics department who kept making distressed clicking sounds. There, he froze the frame. Watch her skeletal structure during recoil absorption. The hologram showed Emma's first shot in microscopic detail. Her shoulder, compressed exactly 2.3 centimeters, absorbed 8,000 newtons of force and returned to neutral position. No fractures, no dislocations, not even bruising. That's not possible, whispered Professor Lirana, head of biomechanics. Her bone density would need to be, no, even with enhanced density, the muscular tearing alone. She fires 9 more times, Zilax said flatly. They watched in silence as Emma casually obliterated every known principle of biological mechanics, punctuating each impossible shot by tucking hair behind her ear. I need to examine her immediately, Lirana said. Down in the medical bay, Emma sat patiently while 3 scanning devices surrounded her, each one calibrated to detect different enhancement technologies. Any cybernetics? Korvax asked, desperately hopeful. None. The medical officer's antenna drooped. No enhancements, no genetic modifications, no exoskeletal integration. She's completely organic. That can't be right. Scan again. Sir, I've scanned 5 times. She's baseline human. Baseline, Korvax repeated numbly. Baseline. Human can lift 73 kilograms with one hand and absorb recoil that would kill a Krethian warrior. I mean, it's not that heavy, Emma said, swinging her legs where she sat on the examination table. My deadlift personal best is like 140, 150. I forget, and I only go to the gym maybe twice a month when my roommate guilts me into it. Every translator in the room struggled with the concept of only, and twice a month appearing in the same sentence as those numbers. Your deadlift, Lirana's voice sounded strangled. In kilograms? Yeah? Is that weird? Emma looked genuinely concerned now. Look, I'm sorry if I messed up. Want me to put the rifle back? I can help reorganize the whole weapons rack if I move stuff around. No! 4 voices shouted simultaneously. Do not touch anything else, Zilax said carefully, until we complete our assessment. In the training ground, Korvax was conducting a demonstration for the rapidly assembling command staff. 2 Krethian instructors, both wearing full military-grade exoskeletons, carefully lifted the Devastator Mark VII from its rack using the proper 4-handed grip and mounted stabilization frame. As you can see, Korvax explained, standard procedure requires full support infrastructure. The weapon's weight distribution alone demands... She picked it up like a briefcase, Admiral Vexia interrupted. I saw the footage. Yes, Admiral. With one hand. Yes, Admiral. While holding a communication device in the other. Yes, Admiral. Vexia's scales rippled with distress. Continue. The 2 Krethians, braced and supported, fired a single shot. The frame absorbed most of the recoil. Both operators still staggered backward half a meter. Now show the human footage again, Vexia ordered. The hologram displayed Emma firing 10 rounds. She moved backward approximately 3 centimeters total. Most of that appeared to be her shifting her weight to get a better angle. She's not even bracing properly, one of the Krethian instructors said, his voice faint. Her stance is casual. Because to her, Korvax said, pulling up his calculations, the recoil force is apparently manageable. But according to every physical law we understand, 8,000 newtons applied to her skeletal structure should have... His tablet beeped with an incoming priority message. Then another. Then 7 more in rapid succession. Zilax read them and his eye stalks went rigid. Director Korvax, how many human cadets are currently enrolled? 6, sir. Why? because I'm receiving incident reports from 5 other training grounds. Zilax's voice had gone very quiet. Cadet Michael Smith apparently tested the Vex cannon to see if it was as heavy as it looked. Cadet Sarah Jackson was found carrying 3 plasma rifles, one under each arm and one over her shoulder, because she wanted to help put them away faster. Cadet James Martinez. What did Martinez do? Korvax asked, weakly. He asked if we had anything challenging because the crew-served weapons felt kind of light. The emergency board meeting convened within the hour. 15 senior staff members crammed into the conference room, all talking at once until Vexia slammed her tail against the floor. Order, one crisis at a time. She pulled up a comparative analysis. We're not dealing with an anomaly. We're dealing with a species whose baseline physical capabilities exceed our maximum theoretical projections by, she paused, recalculating, 340%. That's impossible, someone whispered. I have 6 humans who say otherwise, Zilax replied. 6 humans who think our restricted weapons are pretty reasonable and our safety protocols are overkill. Korvax pulled up Emma's file. Under physical fitness, she'd rated herself as average, maybe slightly below. She thinks she's below average, he said, showing the screen to the room. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of Admiral Vexia pouring herself a very large drink. Vexithul arrived on the next transport from the galactic capital, 40 years of weapons engineering expertise radiating from every spine on his back. He'd designed 17 classes of military hardware, written the universal safety standards, and personally calibrated the biological limitation matrices that governed weapon classifications across 200 species. He took one look at Emma Johnson holding 3 Devastator Mark VIIs, one in each hand, one tucked under her arm, and sat down hard on the nearest bench. I wanted to see if I could, Emma explained cheerfully. And, yeah, it's awkward because of the size, but weight-wise, it's totally doable. That's... Vexthul's translator cycled through several languages trying to find adequate words. That's 219 kilograms. Is it? Huh. I've carried heavier grocery runs, honestly. Emma shifted the rifles slightly, adjusting her grip. These are actually pretty well balanced once you figure out the weight distribution. Vexthul pulled out his personal scanner, the one he'd used to establish the biological maximum force thresholds that governed every weapon in the galactic arsenal. He'd spent 4 decades measuring every known species, establishing the absolute upper limits of organic muscle capacity, bone density, and neural response times. He scanned Emma, then scanned her again, then threw the scanner on the ground and stepped on it. Sir? Korvax approached cautiously. It's broken, Vexthul said flatly. Must be. The readings show she's exceeding Category 7 maximum biological output by... He stopped, picked up the scanner, realized it was still functioning. By 347%, while rating herself as slightly below average for her species. That's what we've been trying to tell you, Zilax said. No, you don't understand. Vexthul's spines quivered. The entire galactic weapons classification system is based on universal maximum biological thresholds. These aren't suggestions, they're the absolute limits of what organic matter can achieve. I've measured 234 species. The outliers, the absolute statistical extremes, peak at Category 7. And humans? Admiral Vexia asked. Humans are baseline Category 23. Their average specimens operate at levels we use for industrial construction equipment. Emma, oblivious to the existential crisis unfolding around her, carefully returned the Devastators to their rack. So, did I pass the assessment? Because I was actually being super careful. I didn't want to break anything by gripping too hard or whatever. You were being careful. Korvax felt something in his mind crack. Yeah, these seem expensive, and I know I can be kind of careless sometimes. I broke 3 door handles in the dorm last month because I forgot they're not built for, She gestured vaguely at herself. Not built for humans, Zilax finished numbly. Right, so I've been really mindful about using light touches on stuff. Vexthul stood abruptly. Show me everything, every weapon system you've designed impossible safeguards for. I need to see them all. 2 hours later, the testing ground looked like a disaster site for biological physics. Emma stood casually holding the IX plasma cannon, a weapon designed to be mounted on light assault vehicles. The mounting bracket alone weighed 60 kilograms. The weapon itself was classified as crew-served. Minimum 3 operators, vehicular support mandatory. Emma was using it standing up, tracking targets with easy precision. The recoil dampeners are pretty good, she commented, firing off 3 shots. Little bit of kick, but nothing crazy. Those dampeners are rated for a vehicle's suspension system, Vexthul whispered. Oh, that explains why it's so smooth. Emma set it down, gently, carefully, like she was handling something fragile. What else you got? Korvax, moving with the mechanical precision of someone whose worldview had completely shattered, directed her to the heavy artillery section. The Titan-class breach cannon sat on its reinforced emplacement, a weapon that required a 3-person crew and 45 minutes of setup time. Emma looked at it thoughtfully. Is it bolted down? Not currently, Korvax heard himself say. Cool, let me just... Emma unhooked the support cables, gripped the cannon's barrel and base, and lifted. The 230-kilogram artillery piece came off its emplacement with a metal groan. Oh, wow, this one's actually got some weight to it. Where do you want it? Anywhere, Zilax said faintly. Just anywhere that's not here. Emma walked 15 meters across the range, the Titan-class breach cannon cradled in her arms like a oversized log, and set it down on a different emplacement. How's that? Better angle from over here, I think. 7 military observers were writing notes with shaking appendages. 3 more had simply given up and were staring into the middle distance. Is there anything that's actually challenging? Emma asked, brushing dust off her uniform. Not trying to sound cocky or whatever, but I kind of expected elite military training to be more, I don't know, intense. Challenging, Vexthul repeated. He pulled up his entire catalog of weapon systems, scrolling past everything rated for organic operators, past the vehicle-mounted systems, into the experimental section marked, theoretical, no biological operation possible. Korvax grabbed his arm. Sir, those are marked theoretical for a reason. I know, Vexthul kept scrolling, but our reasons just became irrelevant. Admiral Vexia stepped forward. Cadet Johnson, we need to run one more test. The Plasma Core Maintenance Protocol. Do you know it? Oh, sure. We covered that in basic training. Disconnect the power feeds, wait for the cooldown cycle, use the insulated tools to... Do it without the tools. Every instructor in the range turned to stare at Vexia. Admiral, the thermal output alone, Korvax started. Her physiology apparently operates outside our understanding. I need to know the limits. Cadet Johnson, there's an active plasma core in Bay 7. Perform a standard maintenance cycle. Emma shrugged and headed to Bay 7. Through the observation window, they watched her open the core housing, still active, still generating heat that would liquefy most organic tissue, reach in with her bare hands, and calmly adjust the alignment crystals. Council member Janira fainted. Emma emerged 2 minutes later, checking her nails. Yeah, it's running a bit hot. Might want to recalibrate the cooling system. Also, one of the crystals had a hairline fracture, so I replaced it. That should help with the efficiency drop you guys were probably seeing. The core was active, Korvax said, his voice distant. I mean, yeah, that's how you check if the alignment's working properly. Can't really test it when it's cold. Vexithul sat down again, this time on the floor. His 40-year career had just been invalidated by a 22-year-old human who thought hot plasma cores were a bit warm, but manageable. Vexthul found Emma in the commissary an hour later, eating what appeared to be her 3rd meal. He sat across from her with a data tablet and the expression of someone seeking enlightenment from a particularly confusing oracle. Cadet Johnson, I need you to explain something to me. Sure, Emma swallowed a bite of sandwich. What's up? What is normal physical activity for a human? On your homeworld, in daily life, what do you do? Emma blinked. Like regular stuff, moving furniture when you rearrange your room, carrying groceries from the car, opening jars when the lid's stuck, helping friends move apartments. Stop. Vexthul held up a hand. Moving furniture. How heavy? I don't know. Depends on the furniture. A couch is maybe 70, 80 kilos. Dressers can be heavier if they're solid wood. You usually get a friend to help with the really big stuff, but like chairs and tables you just carry yourself. Vexthul made a note. And you consider this casual? Well, yeah, I mean, nobody's excited about moving day, but it's just something you do, you know? Emma took another bite. Oh, and carrying groceries, that's kind of a game, actually, trying to get all the bags in one trip so you don't have to go back to the car. How many bags? Depends how much you bought. I can usually manage 8 or 10 bags if I really load up. My brother claims he can do 15, but I think he's lying. She grinned. Each bag is like 5 to 10 kilos, maybe. Vexthul did the math and felt his spines go limp. You competitively carry up to 100 kilograms as a convenience strategy to avoid minor inconvenience. When you say it like that, it sounds weird. And opening jars? Oh, that's just grip strength. Sometimes the lids get sealed really tight, so you gotta really torque it. My grandma keeps a rubber grip thing in her kitchen for the stubborn ones, but usually you can just... Emma made a twisting motion with her hands that made Vexthul think of industrial machinery. Your recreational activities, he said carefully. You mentioned a gym. What happens there? Oh, you know, workout stuff. Treadmills, weight machines, free weights. I'm not like serious about it or anything. I mostly go because my roommate says I need to stay active. And when you're there, what do you lift? Depends on the exercise. For deadlifts, like I said, around 140 to 150 on a good day. Bench press maybe 80. Squats are higher, like 160, 170. She shrugged. I'm pretty average, honestly. There are people at my gym lifting way more. Vexthul looked at his tablet where he'd pulled up the specifications for a Type 4 shuttle. Empty weight, 160 kilograms. You recreationally lift small spacecraft. I recreationally lift metal plates in a climate-controlled building, but sure. Korvax appeared at the table, looking like he'd aged 10 years in the past 3 hours. The human military liaison just responded to my equipment inquiry. And? Vexia joined them, along with Zilax and half the command staff. They apologized for requesting beginner-level equipment. Their exact words were, "We figured you'd start the cadets on lighter training gear and work up from there. Didn't want to assume they'd have access to the heavy stuff right away." Korvax laughed, a slightly unhinged sound. They thought the Devastator Mark VII was our starter rifle. Oh, that makes sense, Emma said helpfully. My uncle has a hunting rifle that's got way more kick than the Devastator. He taught me to shoot when I was like 14. One-handed technique is all about stance and follow-through. You want to let your whole body act as a stabilizer rather than just your arm. Here, I can show you. No! 4 voices shouted. Emma raised her hands. Okay, just offering. Zilax pulled up a holographic display. After consultation with the full Academy Board and the Galactic Weapons Council, we're implementing immediate changes. First, complete vault audit and reclassification of all weapons systems. Second, Vexia continued, creation of a new classification category, human restricted. These are weapons that are too dangerous for any other species to operate, but fall within human safety parameters. Third, Vexthul added, sounding like he was reading his own obituary, complete revision of the universal biological limitation matrices to account for human baseline capabilities. Fourth, Korvax said, specialized advanced training program for human cadets. We're bringing in equipment from Well, from categories we previously considered theoretical. Emma's face lit up. Wait, really? That's awesome. I was worried I'd be stuck with the light stuff the whole time. The light stuff, Korvax said, can vaporize small buildings. Yeah, but I meant weight-wise, Emma grinned. So what's in the advanced program? Zelax pulled up specifications that made 3 junior officers excuse themselves from the table. Anti-ship weapons, experimental heavy plasma systems, and prototype armaments that we've never successfully tested with organic operators. Sick. Emma actually looked excited. When do we start? Korvax exchanged glances with Vexthul. I'm requesting a position redesign. I'm no longer qualified to instruct humans on weapon safety. At best, I can observe and document. I appreciate that, Emma said genuinely. It's nice to finally have people take this stuff seriously. The beginner equipment was starting to feel kind of patronizing, you know? Patronizing, Korvax thought distantly. The weapons that could level cities felt patronizing to her. We start tomorrow, Vexia said. And Cadet Johnson, please don't touch anything until we've completed the safety briefings. You got it, Admiral. Emma stood, picking up her tray. This is gonna be great. I should call my uncle. He's gonna be so jealous that I'm getting to use the cool stuff. She walked away, and the command staff sat in silence. Her uncle, Vexthul finally said, has access to weapons more powerful than our military-grade arsenal. Apparently, Zelax confirmed, on their homeworld, for recreational hunting. Yes, Vexthul poured himself a drink from Vexia's flask. We need to revise our entire threat assessment of Earth. 3 months later, the Galactic Military Academy bore little resemblance to its former self. The training grounds had been restructured into 2 distinct sections, standard species and human capable. The latter featured equipment that still made senior staff nervous. Emma Johnson, now wearing assistant instructor insignia, demonstrated the new H-class Devastator, a weapon specifically engineered to require actual effort from human operators. See, this is what I'm talking about, she said, hefting the 90-kilogram rifle that had taken 6 months and 4 species combined engineering expertise to develop. You can feel the weight. It's got character. 23 alien cadets from various species watched from behind reinforced barriers as Emma casually performed a one-handed shooting drill that would have been physically impossible for any of them with 4 hands and mechanical assistance. Proper respect for physics, she continued, channeling 3 months of coaching from Korvax, means understanding your limitations and working within them. For you guys, that means team-based weapon systems and support infrastructure. For humans, that means remembering that just because you can lift something doesn't mean you should. She set down the H-class Devastator, gently, carefully, and picked up a standard Devastator Mark VII with her other hand for comparison. See the difference? The Mark VII feels like a toy now, but 3 months ago I didn't know any better. Learning proper protocols matters. Korvax watched from the observation deck, making notes on his tablet. His new specialization, human capability assessment and safety protocol development, had become one of the most critical positions in the academy. He'd fully recovered from his initial existential crisis, mostly by reframing his entire career around a single principle. Humans were a force of nature that required documentation, not instruction. How's the new batch? Zelax asked, joining him. Traumatized, mostly. We showed them Emma's first-day footage during orientation. Korvax pulled up his incident reports. 3 requested immediate transfers to non-human training divisions. 5 have developed what the medical staff calls appropriate paranoia around unrestricted weapons. The rest are adapting. And the Galactic Military's response? Chaos, predictably. Korvax scrolled through his messages. 17 species have requested transfer policies to avoid serving in direct combat units with humans. Weapons manufacturers are scrambling to develop the new human-grade product line. Turns out there's massive commercial demand for equipment rated for recreational human strength levels. And the Weapons Council has spent the last month revising classification standards that stood unchanged for 3 centuries. Down on the range, Emma had moved to the practical demonstration section. All right, everyone try lifting a standard training rifle. Remember, 2-handed grip, proper stance, support from your... She paused as all 23 cadets struggled with the basic weapon that she'd once considered too light. Okay, yeah, that's normal for you guys. Work within your capabilities. That's the whole point. Emma picked up her coffee thermos with her left hand and the H-class Devastator with her right, then proceeded to hit 15 targets in rapid succession while taking a drink. That, bellowed an instructor from the alien section, is what not to do. Humans, pretend you didn't see that. Emma looked sheepish. Sorry, bad habit. Do as I say, not as I do. A priority message flashed across Korvax's screen, Academy Director's office. He opened it to find Emma's official commendation for exposing critical safety oversights in galactic weapons protocols and catalyzing necessary systematic reforms. There was also a note from Admiral Vexia. Tell her the theoretical weapons are ready for testing next week and have medical standing by. Korvax added to his daily report. Human definition of casual remains terrifying. Recommend continued observation and documentation. Note: Cadet Johnson has begun describing H-class weapons as a decent workout, but nothing crazy. Suggest development of HH-class systems. Request psychological support for engineering team. On the range, Emma finished her demonstration and checked her chrono. Awesome work today, everyone. Same time tomorrow for heavy weapons familiarization. And by heavy, I mean heavy for you guys. For me, it's still pretty light duty, honestly, but we work with what we've got. She slung the H-class Devastator over one shoulder, picked up 3 other weapons to return them to the vault, and headed toward the exit. Hey, Korvax, she called up to the observation deck. What's for lunch? All this light exercise made me hungry. Korvax watched her disappear into the armory, carrying enough firepower to level a city block like she was hauling groceries, and updated his report one final time. Humanity continues to redefine normal. Recommend all species maintain appropriate distance and respect. Possibly reconsider first contact protocols for any species demonstrating similar capabilities. Also, requisition larger lunch portions for human cadets. Current allotments insufficient. He closed his tablet and headed to the commissary, where Emma was probably already on her second meal, casually discussing which experimental weapons she wanted to try next, while the entire galactic military scrambled to keep up. Some days, Korvax reflected, you just had to accept that physics had favorites, and humans were apparently at the top of that list. Word count, 750.